Hi there, my name is Candie and I'm an operator at Killawaves Radio. Killawaves Radio is an online internet radio station streaming 5 channels of DnB and Breakbeat subgenres 24/7 and up to 320 kilobits per second. To visit our station, just go to radio.killawaves.org and you can tune into our streams and find out more information there. So the purpose of today's screencast is to instruct new DJs of how they're going to go about streaming their live mix up to the Killawaves web server. And we are going to be using an awesome bit of software called BuTT, which is an unfortunate acronym which stands for Broadcast Using This Tool. But it has so many good features that we highly recommend using this method of streaming. So it can be found at sourceforge.net. Just search for BuTT, B-U-T-T. I'm sure you'll find it online and hopefully won't come up with too many gay porn sites or anything. So once you've found this page, have a little read of the overview. What's brilliant about it is it's open source, it works on Mac, Linux and PC, it's free, and the other massive bonus is that you can stream simultaneously. You can stream and record simultaneously at different bit rates, which is just a really fantastic thing. So have a little read, like download it, install it on whatever platform you're using, and we can take it from there. Just to save time, I've already done that, so bing. So the next thing we need to do before we start entering our stream details into BuTT is just check that we've got a few things to hand. First of all, I'm assuming that you're a relatively old school DJ in that you're using a setup which consists of something along the lines of 2 turntables and a mixer. In which case, what you need is to run an RCA to mini jack cable out of the back of your mixer into your line import of your computer that you're using to stream. So one of these guys, that comes out the back of your mixer, and that needs to go into the line import of your computer that you're using. So I'm just going to do that now. Mine's in. The other thing we need to have to hand is the Killawaves stream infos, which you will have received in your welcome pack. If not, just go to radio.killawaves.org, jump in the chat room, and an operator will be there to provide these details for you. So keep these to hand, and then we are ready to start configuring our BuTT, so to speak. So the first thing we need to do is to press the settings button, which will produce a flyout containing 4 different tabs, which I'll take you through now. First of all, this one is audio device. Now you'll notice here the meter reading is showing my voice as I'm speaking because it's picking it up off the microphone, when what we want is for it to be the line in which we set from running from our mixer earlier. So let me just zoom in actually. So if we put that into built-in input, that's our line import, and you'll see that this meter reading now is taking it off the mixer as opposed to the onboard microphone. Next thing we need to do is add our server. So if we bring up our stream info that you would have been provided with by an operator, and click add, and you'll have another little flyout window. So Killawaves uses an IceCast protocol, so click on that and it will open the mount point at the bottom. So name is human readable. This is just so that we don't get confused over what server we're streaming to if we have a whole bunch. Ooh, special Killawaves Radio. Our address is radio.killawaves.org. The port is a pretty standard internet radio port, which of 8000, and the password you will be provided with. I'm just entering some dummy text, but you can see you can show and hide your password there. Because we're using IceCast, we need to enter a mount point, so that is main circus. Note that the first letter is capitalized. That's really, really important. So cool. Right, we're going to add that. So our server is now added. The next thing we need to do is add stream infos. So once again, you'll get another little flyout. Stream infos is kind of added information. It may or may not be visible to anyone. It may come up in IRC. It may come up on the web interface. It just depends on the radio station. So I'm going to add it in just in case it does end up coming up. I'm going to put it as Candie's Mix. I'm going to put it as, again, Candie's Mix. Drum and bass, standardly, URL. Well, this is my URL. You can add whatever, your MySpace or your Facebook or Twitter, whatever, I guess, and just fill the rest in, in as much detail as you can be asked, really, and add that. So now you'll see we've got our audio device set, our server is set, and our stream info is also set. Okay, so let's move on to the stream tab. This is where it gets a little bit technical, and if you are going to get into internet radio streaming, then I highly recommend that you read into bitrate and sample rate stuff, because it's really interesting and very, very important. So let's start with bitrate. Now, I would never, ever, ever recommend going any lower than 128k, because it just sounds awful. It's just not worth it, unless it's just spoken word or something. We're playing quality music, and we want the listeners to hear it properly. So 128 is the absolute lowest you would ever consider going. 192 is kind of a compromise between having good quality sound and not having many buffers. It depends on the users, on the listeners' bandwidth, how much they are capable of downloading or hearing. In Killawaves, we actually have the capability of streaming at 320, which is quite exceptional. It's quite unusual, really. Internet radio don't tend to go that high just because of the bandwidth allocation. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to tell you to put it at 192 kilobits per second. And you'll see that on that BuTT tells you that that's been written to the config file, so that's great. The sample rate, now that's just leave it as it is, 44100 Hertz. That is CD quality. And it's basically the resolution of the audio that is being outputted. So again, if you want to read more about these things, do so. Just put it as it is here for the time being. Channel, well, I have no idea why you would want mono, so I would just stick with stereo. And then your codec. The codec that we run is MP3, so make sure that is there. These guys, you can kind of just don't worry about them, because we're doing a mix, not a playlist, so we're just going to leave those as they are. And you'll see after doing all that that's also been written to the config file via BuTT. Okay, so the next tab along is recording, and this is where you're going to set all the configurations for the recording that you're going to have on your local machine. I would suggest that you just leave that as it is. It will come up, the file name will come up as rec, the month, the day, the year, the issue, and it will come up as like an MP3. I would just suggest that you leave that as it is, because it gets a bit confusing, but you can always rename them afterwards. The same with save to, just leave it as it is, and it will come up in your documents folder or the top hierarchy of your hard drive that you're using. I would just leave those. And make sure that you've checked start recording when connected. So as soon as you start streaming to the web server, BuTT will automatically start recording simultaneously, and this little button shows comes up just to show that that's going to happen. And this is where BuTT is really, really cool. Bitrate. So, this is recording your own personal recording of your mix that you're doing. So, we're going to have it at 320 and leave the sample rate as it is. It just means that your the copy that you're going to have on your local computer will be at 320 when the stream that you're sending out is actually at 192. So channels again, stereo blatantly. Codec, we do an MP3. You can also have WAV or OGG, but we're going to stick with MP3. Right, so the last tab is the GUI, the graphic user interface. This isn't rocket science. It's just you can kind of customize it a bit. So let's go crazy and let's make it pink, pink and green. Yeah, that's nice. Ugh. You can decide where the window floats, etc. Just gonna leave it like that. In fact, I can't bear that green. It's got to be blue. There we go. Nah. Wicked. Alright, cool. So go back to main and we're going to save the settings. And it will tell you that is now written to your config file. So that's all good and ready to go. Just quickly make sure that is not checked, by the way, because if you connect at startup, it'll mean that you start up your PC and you'll suddenly be streaming to Killawaves and you might get in trouble, so just make sure that's not on. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. So that's all it's all configured, we're all done there. Okay, so now we've completely configured BuTT and are ready to send a stream up to the Killawaves Radio server. This is the point where you need to make sure that if you've got any jingles you're going to play, that they're all queued up, that you've got the right tune on the right deck, or you've got your mic set up, or basically you just make sure you're prepared because you're about to stream to the world. And then what we do here is we'll press play and record in order. So when you press play, that will send a stream up to the Killawaves web server, and when you press record, it will start recording your mix for your local computer. So I'm actually going to bring up the Killawaves website so you can actually see what the users will be seeing and what yourself will be seeing. And I'm going to go ahead and press the play button. But is telling us that there is an invalid password, so let's go and sort that out. So you go and edit the server details. Yeah, and obviously I put in some dummy text earlier, so I'm just going to put in the correct details and save it. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Okay, ignore that, that's a bug that I have, you shouldn't have that. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm now live. So the main circus stream has just come up on the website itself. This is now a live stream and people can press play and they can hear what I'm streaming or the mix that I'm doing. And if I press record, again, that's a bug, just ignore that. I am now recording a hard copy that is coming down onto my local computer. So there you go. BuTT is telling us that we are on air, and it also tells us how long we've been streaming. So that's all been pretty successful. The next thing you've got to worry about is disconnecting. So when you've done your show, all you've got to do is just press that stop button, and it will instantly tell you that the user is disconnected. Info will tell you that you're idle, and this channel on the website has also gone, so it knows that we are now not streaming to the web server anymore. So there you have it. That is how you use BuTT to stream to a web server, this one being Killawaves Radio, but the same applies for any internet radio station, providing you've got the correct information. If you're interested in where your stream goes after it's been recorded, it's always in the top hierarchy of your computer. So you can see I've got loads of them here. So just take them from there and rename them. And that's about it. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you have an awful lot of fun streaming on Killawaves Radio. My name is Candie. I go by the name of Candie Bandit online, and yeah, have fun.